Welcome to the 100 Master Coaches series featuring master coaches from around the world. Let's journey together on this 100 Master Coaches series with your host, Coach Mel, MCC. Peter Busby moved from England to Italy in 1992. His uniqueness as a Master Certified Coach comes from the blend of these two cultures. His Britishness has made him respectful towards others, a very good listener, and always on time. And combined with his Italian friendliness, warmth, and flexibility, Peter has over 3,000 coaching hours, and coaches fluently in both English and Italian around the world, helping professionals succeed. Now on to the show.
Hello, and welcome to the 100 Master Coaches show. This is Coach Mel, and today on the show, my special guest comes all the way from Rome, Italy. He is none other than Peter Busby. Welcome to the show, Peter.
Welcome. I'm going to applaud you too. Thank you, Coach Mel, for the invite. It's great to be here.
You know, I had the pleasure of meeting you in person. Now, this is probably one of those rare occasions where I have actually met someone that has come onto the show.
Yeah, it was at Villa Torlonia, if you remember, Mel.
Yes, I do.
Rome, in
Yes,
August.
I do.
Yeah.
And we went for a walk, and then we sat outside a very famous person's house. I will not name the person, but that was a beautiful conversation that we had, I remember.
It was. And maybe we can mention the architect. It's Giuseppe Valadier. So he designed, or he built, or was the architect behind the villa. And it's a famous villa in Rome, Villa Torlonia, and it's beautiful, and it was a beautiful day. It did rain at the end, but we didn't mind.
Yes, that's right. Well, once again, thank you for coming onto the show. I would love to start where you want to start on the river today. So where shall we begin, Peter?
Wow. What a good question. Thank you for that, Coach Mel. Maybe we can flow along the river of a little bit about me, because I'm a little bit different, I think, from, well, as Oscar Wilde would say, be yourself. Yeah. Everybody else is already taken.
Yeah.
So maybe a little bit about me. I am from London in the UK. I have been living in Italy now since 1992. That sounds like a long time. It sounds like it is decades. It is decades. I moved here because of my girlfriend. I met my girlfriend in London. She was there for something called Erasmus. And we met and we fell in love. And she said, "What next?"
Can I just say that was a powerful question, by the way.
Very. And I'm gonna try and give you a powerful answer. So I said, well, I will come over and do the same thing. So I did Erasmus as well in Italy. I spent a year studying Italian, culture, language, everything. And then I thought, am I ready to work yet? And I said, no. So I did like a postgrad. I have a degree in economics now. And after the postgrad, which lasted a further year, one of the companies that the master course partnered with, it's a clothing company. I ended up working for them, for their marketing team. And it kind of went from there. I just started working in marketing. I was working in sales. I was working for different companies, and I spent about 20 years.
Wow.
The marketeer, the marketing hat, selling things.
Yes.
Convincing people to buy things from us. And
yes,
I've been, different places in Italy doing all of this, and that was many years.
Beautiful. And when I was there in Italy, I just love everything about it. The food, the culture, the people, and of course, I did see a lot of very famous brands out there. The way they bring fashion together, right? So I am just amazed that we do have that similarity. I was also a marketing person, a little bit of sales as well. Yeah, I get you, right? Trying to convince the consumer to get our product. It's just very different from coaching.
Yeah, it's true. But I also see some links, like this idea of conversations. I love that idea.
That's right.
We are still having conversations with people. Maybe we're a little bit more, accept what I want to say.
Yeah.
But there's still a bit of conversation there. It's a little bit of, this push and this pull. So, but you're right. They're different, but I see a few links. So it was interesting there was a bit of a break though for me when I moved to coaching, I must admit.
So tell us about that break first before we head on to the next phase of your life, which is coaching. So what happened in the break?
So another powerful question. Thank you, Mel. Well, I was at a point where I had a team, Mel. I had a team of about 15 people.
Yeah.
I was a director, so I was happy. I was, a reasonably satisfied person in the company, the last company I was working for. This was 2012, so 11 years ago. And I noticed that at the time, companies, including my own company, when there was an issue, so something that needed to be addressed, our company was saying, well, you can go on a course, you can be trained, you can be mentored, or you can just be told what to do. So the boss would come in and say, look, this is a problem with this client, just do this now and let me know what happens. So it was there was a lot of problem solving and firefighting, which was interesting. But then I suppose I noticed it a lot about myself as well, Mel, that people would go back to old habits. They would, and, I think about some of the courses I did myself, you would be there in that room and it would be great at the time and you would be given great slides and handouts and things to look at and action planning. But then you would just go away and put it all in a drawer and go back to old habits. So that had me thinking, what else can we do for ourselves and for other people as well to develop, to increase our performance, to work on potential. And, as we know, with the implications those things might have, not only at work, but also elsewhere. And then I saw the TED video. I know I'm not promoting TED here, but there was a great TED talk in 2013, Mel.
Okay.
The one with Bill Gates. I'm sure you know it.
Yes.
Where he says, that one there. That was the one that kind of had me thinking about coaching. Because Bill Gates said everyone needs a coach.
The coach, yeah.
Exactly. And that really started it. It was one of those, it was not the only thing, but it was one of those things that started my journey.
I remember that video, and I think he mentioned about his bridge coach, isn't it? Something like that.
Exactly. And he said that this bridge coach is so good because she was coaching by looking at the back of his head while playing bridge.
Absolutely, isn't it? Oh man, it's a vast difference, if I might say, from what you were saying of the directive, the problem solving, me giving you the answer. And even as you've gone through all of that training after that and that in between, there's only so much that we can put into place, I guess, in a culture where it's still functioning as the way it is. Perhaps not really open to coaching at that point. Maybe it's new for them. Things has been done in a similar fashion for X number of years. So I'm just curious, Peter, how did you influence that bit of change into that organization?
Well, the thing that happened after the video, Mel, was that I decided to find out more.
Okay.
About coaching. So I didn't even know how to say the word correctly because living now in Italy, there were different ways of actually saying the word, pronouncing the word, like I presume would happen with a French person trying to say an English word or a German person or people from other cultures, other countries.
Yeah.
So first I had to work out how to say the word correctly. And then I decided to find out more about it. So I went on my first coaching course. It lasted 12 months through an ICF coaching school. And then I went back to my company and said, look, I found out that there's a different way of doing things. There's a different way of having, and Mel, I'd like to be honest, I don't really even like to call this coaching all the time.
Yes.
I talk about strategic conversations. That's one of the words I learned from a friend many, many years ago. So I went back to my company and said, the last company I worked for before leaving, before setting up my own company.
Yeah.
And I said, look, I think we can have more strategic conversations here.
Mm.
And I'd like to show you how it works. I'd like to test it. I'd like to coach or have these conversations with some people from different parts of the company, different divisions, different business areas, and so on.
Yeah.
And they were very open to it. So I
That's
became
good.
one of their internal coaches, man.
Wow.
So I started building, one block at a time.
One block at a time, one conversation at a time, one perspective shift at a time, slowly but surely. And did that kind of gather momentum for you in that company, do you think?
Now, that's a great question, Mel, because I felt more momentum inside.
Wow.
Because as I was doing the work, I was feeling, and I saw the shifts. I saw people having shifts, having new thoughts, having the time with somebody to have this strategic conversation and think about his or her own potential and what to do and what not to do and what to be and what not to be. But I was doing all this myself internally. And I think the great thing about being coaches, by the way, is that we do this all the time, I think, with our clients, because it's about them, of course. It's partnership, it's co-construction. We are learning together.
That's right.
So every conversation taught me something, small, medium, or large. And then, so this kind of, this percolated. And it got to a point, Mel, where I just thought coaching is getting so important now. And I'm changing as a person. I'm growing as a person, that I need to decide whether I continue coaching full time or if I continue to do this sort of semi-coaching internally plus my normal marketing job. And then the decision was made.
Well, I want to say congratulations on that move.
Thank you.
I speak to quite many coaches, right? And what gets me all the time is how coaching impacts their life and how they allow that shifts internally to lead them to that place, whatever that place is, whatever that's called. And again, sometimes it's for them to move from their role in the organization, if they're internal, and start doing a bit of coaching, like what you did, right? And a little bit more, and then a little bit more, until a point where they realize that I can do this perhaps outside there as well, and work with other people, other cultures, other organizations, and create that ripple effect. I don't know what that shifts were for you, that you kind of said, this is time for me. What was that tipping point for you as you entered full-time?
The time came because I was lucky. I mean, I think we create luck. We don't just be lucky. But I was lucky because and now we're up to about 2014, Mel. So I've been coaching internally for a couple of years. I've been continuing to look at coaching, reading, continue to work as a coach informally outside of my company. And then it came to a point where a couple of colleagues, a couple of people I met at the first coaching course said, can we not do something here? Because it looks like it's the time in countries like Italy. And I think about, other countries as well, in Europe at least, where coaching was starting to grow. And people were becoming more aware of what coaching was. And so they said, can we not set something up, like a little company, a little partnership? And we had a meeting. We actually met in my house. And one of the guys, Mel, it's so incredible. He said, I believe in what we're about to do so much. I've decided to print business cards for us. And he gave us business cards that day. And he gave us T-shirts as well with the logo, the company logo. The first company I ever worked for, as a coaching company. And that was one thing. That was one really important thing. The other really important thing which tipped me over towards coaching was that I had already started networking and doing voluntary work for ICF. So I do work for ICF voluntarily, and I have been working for ICF voluntarily since 2014. many sort of events and seminars and webinars
Yeah.
and so on. And it got to the point where the networking was just sending me a message. You know, there are these people that are coaching out there, and they're asking you actually to do coaching with them, team coaching or different situations.
Yeah.
So that it just built, as you said, one block at a time, one conversation at a time.
Yeah.
And then I just left. I left the company.
Wow. This is amazing. Let me just say that. And it's also because I know all of the friends that I have in the family, as I like to call it, they've gone and impacted hundreds, if not, thousands of people along the way, along their journey. It all starts with this moment at that point of time when you said yes to step out. And tell me about that first couple of moments after that. What happened as you stepped out? And yes, you said you worked with this couple of friends on the side, right? This coaches that came together. And I'm sure you also were starting your own Peter, right? Peter Busby, the coach. Sorry, the Italian speaking coach from the UK.
Good. Thank you for saying that. I do speak 2 languages, of course. Yeah. Well, the journey had already started, of course, Mel.
Yes.
But I suppose when I did leave my marketing role, I went through, and I used the word painful, but also enlightening couple of months in terms of rebranding, in terms of thinking about myself differently, no longer as a marketeer. Then it was more about marketing myself. So the link that I mentioned at the beginning today was still there. I was still going to use my marketing skills in a certain sense, but now to sell myself only. Or myself along with these other colleagues I was working with, and other things were happening at the time, which I won't go into. It got a bit complex. I started networking extensively. I used my LinkedIn. I linked in with many people. And Mel, that was also fantastic because I had the opportunity after almost 20 years with my phone ringing all day and at night as well, that my phone stopped ringing because I was no longer an employee for this company. And I didn't really have a coaching practice as such. So I was able to connect with all these people who I hadn't met in so many years, friends, former colleagues, and then new people as well, clients and other coaching people and colleagues from ICF and the family, as you said. I like that word, by the way. And I offered a lot of things for free. It was very much about self-promotion and having people, asking them to experiment coaching. So there was a lot of free work and no money, Mel. Just nothing. I mean, really, year one, couple of $1,000. That was it. So I had to rely on savings. Absolutely. Had to rely on savings. But I believed so much in this. And I was helped along the way by ICF because they just encouraged me and they said, look, coaching is growing and you can come and work for us. You can be one of our volunteers. They asked me to become what's called one of their local ambassadors now. Which means that I was there to share what coaching was, talk about the culture, talk about the approach, show coaching live through sessions. And we did this in different places, in Italy, different events. And all those friends that I made are now friends that I go to dinner with, I go hiking with at the weekends when it's nice and warm. We share experiences, we do things together. And then, the clients just came and it was kind of spontaneous, but there was that initial, wow, this is not going to be easy, but I believed in it and I persisted and I didn't give up. I didn't.
Well, congratulations again.
Thank you.
There are numbers that show, right, that on one side, if you persevere, if you hold the fort, and if you, as you say, believe in it and network and put yourself out there, things eventually work out. And then there are those who have obviously have heard of them going back into employment. And again, there is nothing wrong with that. It happens. Maybe at this point, I know you said things already. Things could have been different. I do remember my time when I decided to 100% get out there without employment. That was the year 2010. And it was scary. You know, the connections that I had, as you said, the calls, the busyness, you know, for me, the headhunters that kept on calling me stopped calling. There was a point that I needed to shift in that being, that I'm no longer that marketing person, as exactly what you said, and now the coach. And it takes that moment in time, whatever that moment is, to step into that role, step into that person and make it something out there. It's
Wow.
a tough journey.
Congratulations, Mel. Congratulations. That's one
Thank
for
you.
me. You're saying that journey.
Thank you.
I see it and I feel it and I hear it.
Perhaps some encouragement, perhaps, or some insights that you might have for the ones that are now taking that step, walking away from that full-time employment into that new adventure ahead. What would you say? Yeah, what would you share with them?
Wow, that needs a little bit of thought. I'd say that because coaching is a different way of not only talking or speaking with people, but it's a different way of relating to people. It's a different way of being. It will teach you so much. It is such a fantastic journey. Not that other journeys aren't fantastic, because you know I think there's this idea, Mel, of sliding doors, right? So you know, I could have done something different, and I'm sure it would have been fantastic,
of course,
equally fantastic. But I don't know, because you know the decision's been made.
That's right.
So I would say trust it. Trust that journey will teach you so many things that it will be worth it. And I don't use the word money deliberately, because I don't think I'm not doing this for the money. I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it for the joy. And I'm doing it for the gratitude. I say these things, Mel, because of something recently that happened to me as well. And this helped me think back to where I started and why I'm continuing to do this, because I was at the ICF National Conference, right, in Italy. We had it in Genoa. So I was part of the team of MCCs. We were asked to do some work with the people attending the conference. It was about 100 over 200 people came to the conference. So it was incredible, a really incredible experience. And one thing, Mel, that they asked us to do before even attending the conference was define the word diversity. And my definition was something along the lines of knowing we are travelers and that we meet people who can teach us something. And that was what happened when I started. And that's what I think coaching does for us. It helps us travel, it helps us meet people, it helps us learn things. And, you know, how beautiful is that? So trust the beauty of the journey, and you will be grateful for doing this. There are just some words that come to mind, but I don't know how those resonate with you.
Yeah, it's like me even reaching out to you and saying, hey, I notice you're in Rome and I'm coming. Would you like to journey with me, right? Using your words, just for a short while. And that was a beautiful walk we had, and a little bit of a sit down. We went a little deeper. It started to drizzle, and we said, you know, shall we walk? Shall we just sit? It will just sat. We watched people dance.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
We talked some more. Yeah. Then we walked. Yeah. And then we said goodbyes, or perhaps see you next time. It's intentional. We even shared about our MCC journeys. Remember that one, which we're going to talk about very, very soon. All right. And it was beautiful. So, Peter, thank you for journeying with me thus far.
I'm loving this journey. I can't wait to see what's next.
There we go. And so I remember you telling me you took a while to get that courage to put in that application for the MCC. Tell us about that journey so that we can all learn together.
Yeah, that was a tough one. It was a brave moment for me, Mel, I must admit.
There we go.
I like that word brave. I know brave isn't written in our competencies, but it's one of the words I sometimes use to go beyond the competencies, because I think the coaching competencies help us, and they help us whatever we're doing, whatever credential we have, and they're there to guide us. That's the process. That's the reassurance that we're doing the work that ICF wants us to do. But I think it comes to the point where we are going to be brave. And my brave moment was that moment. It was 2020, Mel, and I had my meeting with my mentor, my trusted mentor, who I met through another one of those lucky things in my life. I met this guy. He's incredible. And he said to me, "Are you here for the next step?" And I said, "Well, it's a journey. It is a journey, but I'm here for my MCC." And he said something to me, Mel, which really shocked me. But it was one of the most incredible things that I did, and I recommend to anybody before they even start thinking about the next level, whatever that next level might be. He said, "Give me recordings, many recordings of your sessions, so I can listen to you, you can listen to yourself, and then we can listen to them together." And I hadn't any recordings at all. Now, self-reflective, I do that. I'm competency 2, it's all there. But I never recorded myself. So that was like, really? But that's so true. It's so inspiring. It's so enlightening. It's like starting again. Yeah. It's like starting from scratch. It's like starting anew. And then the dilemma came, Mel, which was, as you rightly said before, what language do I do this in? Because I speak fluent Italian. I'm, mother tongue equivalent, obviously from London. Yeah. And I decided to do it all in Italian, which was like, I don't know about your journey, but I wonder how many MCCs or even colleagues at other levels do things in a different language from their mother tongue. But I just felt like I was more in the river at that time in Italian. So I started recording myself, being mentored, being prepared, trial and error, reviewing the experiences together, the sessions, and my mentor encouraged me so deeply. So I was getting closer to Everest, and the Everest was reached this year. So they're just some thoughts that come to mind regarding this brave journey, the next part of my journey.
It kind of seemed like the whole lockdown experience, pun intended, was a bit of a lockdown as you dive deep inside yourself to come out resonating with Italian, and coaching in Italian, because it's been resonating within you for X number of years, right? And that is so brave as well, and as well as beautiful. I remember you telling me that you were seriously thinking about whether you should actually coach and record in English, or should you do it in Italian? I'm just excited for you that you chose the other.
It was, I don't know if it was even conscious. It was rather just intuition. Well, wow. It was very much a feeling. It was very much a being. I just felt I was being even more right now, at that time, with my clients and the people I was privileged to coach in that second language, which sounds like that language and that culture and that being just came into me, and it just, as you said, resonated. And and I think back and I think, did I really do all that? And I do it now, but at the time when I decided to take this next step in my journey towards the I called it my Everest at the time. It really was. And it was very cold at the start. Just as Everest is, very cold, snowy.
Yeah, and not everyone gets there. And if they do, it's a life-changing experience. And it brought me to think about what you said the last time we met, about how you not just spoke in Italian, but you brought in some colloquial words and expressions for a particular leader in an organization. Tell us about the importance of that as we are coaches, as we are doing our work, and how important to build that kind of trust and rapport with our clients.
You know, I think as coaches, Mel, we are vulnerable. So we will be making mistakes. We will be doing things that are wrong. We, of course, I think at least need to ask for feedback from our clients, so we are the best versions of ourselves, but also for them.
Yeah.
And sometimes these expressions just come out because we are who we are. We have been on our own individual, unique journeys.
Yeah.
So I like to use my intuition sometimes, and sometimes it might get to that, as you said, that colloquial expression which comes out. And then I suppose the thing that I try to be as careful about as I can is just saying, this is what I think, this is what I feel, this is what I want to share with you, but I don't know what it means for you.
Yeah.
How it sounds to you. Yeah. And if it makes any sense to you, because if it doesn't, no problem at all.
That's right.
So there's a bit of vulnerability there. And I love that part of coaching, by the way. And it took me a long time to learn that. A long time. Really, a long time. That was part of my Everest, actually.
Thanks for saying that, you know.
Thank you for listening.
You're welcome. Times have changed since you and I started this journey. I would dare say it's a lot different, even though there are similarities to what it was maybe 10, 15 years ago. But then there are also lots of differences. I reckon one of the good things is that our clients are becoming more informed and more aware about coaching and about the impact that it can bring to the organization. So I guess this is the kind of a future-paced question. We're currently in this era of our year, and what do you notice as will be some important things that are coming along our way that we need to pay attention to?
So it's almost like talking about the next part of the journey. That's how it's landing with me, Mel. I mean, coaching right now, and this is something I'm extremely grateful for, and this is what you're saying, is that it's becoming more, I don't like the word popular, but people are more informed now.
Yeah.
Because at the beginning of my career, Mel, people were saying, but are you therapists? Will you ask me to lie down somewhere?
Yeah.
Do you have a pendulum?
Yeah.
And I thought, we're a long way from this journey, reaching a sort of a point that makes sense for both of us, because we don't do those things. We do other things. So as I said before, there's, the word coaching did create confusion in Italy. I think it still does. That's why I use this word now. I say strategic conversations, and I think that helps. So it's about, explaining what we do very clearly and being extremely clear as to what we can't achieve together. And this will help you. This will help you reach what you want to reach. It will help you not only use those things, those talents, those abilities, those things you're great at, but also develop new talents, new abilities, things that you can also add to get where you want to get. Now, I say all this because this is a journey which in Italy, in my opinion, is still happening. So this journey from not knowing what coaching is to what coaching is, it's still a little bit niche, more of a niche market here, but we are growing, which is part of the journey, which I'm also on as one of the coaches in Italy. And also, I also coach abroad, but I talk about Italy because that's one of the markets I work in more. Yeah. So there's that. Now, right now, and I was actually on the news this morning, I keep getting this thing about AI, artificial intelligence, Mel.
Yeah.
How is that impacting? What will it change? And who will be losing out as a consequence? And, my thought is this, and I don't know what you think, is that AI is great in answering questions. You pose a question and AI will give you an answer. Now, what the answer AI gives you depends on what's available on the internet. So it could be rubbish, it could be excellent, it could be effective or ineffective. But I think coaches are there to ask great questions. And I don't think AI can do that yet. And I wonder if they'll ever be able to do it. So I think we still have a really important place in the world. And I don't see that changing for a long time. So I see we can continue to be part of a system and offer something which is different and powerful, along with training, along with mentoring, along with all those other things, and of course, along with AI.
Thank you, Peter. I flow along that same stream. I feel that AI and all of that are enablers, that they're not particularly there to remove anything at this point of time, at least. They are to enhance things. And yet there is that bit of that human side. Wouldn't just say about the emotions, but a lot more than just that. Being human is a gift. And it's something that we have that actually creates this difference. It's like having dinner with someone. And throughout that dinner, you might bring out different topics that we'll talk about, from politics that we may not agree on, to the news, to something about something happening in a different part of the world. And then suddenly we're talking about a bit of coaching and then another topic. So it's random, but it's just this beautiful meeting point, isn't it? And the vastness of this meeting point, it's just so breathtaking. The opportunity for creation just blooms.
But you just inspired me to say something a little bit funny, but actually quite true in my opinion. That in Italy, during that dinner, there's one topic that you didn't mention, which is it's an enabler, but it's such a common topic. It's talking about food.
That's right.
As you probably saw when you came over, Italians here, and I apologize to my colleagues, but I think many of them will agree, the Italian people will spend dinner talking about what they're eating, what they ate, and what they would like to eat.
I think that's what I enjoyed, because as a person with Asian heritage, it's the same. We're eating something and we're talking about wanting to eat some other thing. Right? It's all the time, right? It's like sometimes even a competition. Have you tried this? Shall we go to dessert next? Well, we haven't even done a starter yet, right? And we're absolutely.
I think we'll take it to the next level. It's not only food for the stomach, but it's food for us, as you said, as we are randomly conversing. And see where it leads. It can lead to many places, and I think every place will be a good place. We can learn something, as I said before. This idea of learning from everybody as we travel, as our limited travel time continues, because it is unfortunately quite limited. I think it's so fast, isn't it? How short a time we are here for. Wow, that's why I'm so grateful, really. Well, because of the traveling, it's not that long, to be honest. I think I'd love to live forever, but it's not going to happen.
Yeah. I resonate with you. I mean, getting into my 5 series, right? It's different. It's so wonderful. And it's something that I remind myself every single day now, more so than when I was in my 4 series. The time is precious,
I'd like to say something else if I may, and it's you're inspiring me to say it as we're having this incredible conversation, is that near to my place here in Rome, I have there's a sort of a famous food shop. Can I say the name?
Oh, yes, please.
Okay, it's Italy. Maybe you've heard of it. They have a shop in New York, and they have shops all around the world now.
Yeah.
It was it's an entrepreneur in Turin who created this Italy experience. They are big eating experiences, and it's about the Italian eating experience. And at the entrance now to the store here in Rome, and it's really big. It used to be a train station, then they sort of refurbished it, and it's now become this really big eatery. At the entrance, it says something like, "Life is too short to eat or drink badly."
So true.
Yeah. So life's too short to not do what we're passionate about. That's what I'd say. And I'm passionate about coaching. And I offer that to anybody who listens to this, that ideally we do what we're passionate about. Life's too short to do anything different.
So true. You know, every good thing must come to a close, at least for now. Peter, really want to thank you for this conversation. But before we go, I still have one or two up my sleeve. Don't you worry. The first one, the first one, because you're so special, I want to say this. I want you to say something in Italian, and of course, it ain't going to impact me that much because I've got to find out what it is. But just for people who speak the language, and you speak it so beautifully, to say something to inspire them, even right now.
I will say what I think about diversity, and I'll say that in Italian, because that's what I did when I went to the conference in Genoa.
Please, go ahead.
Dunque, colleghi tutti, vi saluto e vi ricordo che secondo me la diversità è come essere in viaggio sapendo di poter incontrare persone da cui imparare qualcosa. E questo ci arricchisce, secondo me. È un arricchimento, è un viaggio, e vi incoraggio a viaggiare insieme a tutte queste persone. I can back translate if you like, Mel.
I'm just gonna leave it as it is because that was beautiful.
Okay.
No, seriously. Seriously.
I just define diversity from my perspective.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Any last thoughts in English that you'd like to share with our audience today?
Oh, so many things. You know, I think if I had the opportunity, Mel, to go back and just start all over again, if I could go back, you know, I had a time machine now, I wouldn't. And I wouldn't because, and I don't really talk about the coaching right now, because all these sliding doors that I missed or I managed to, you know, get into before the doors closed led me to where I am today. And I mean my family, I mean my friends, I mean my colleagues, I mean my clients, I mean my children, I mean my career. Now, every now and again, with some close friends of mine, Mel, I have this conversation about, well, what would you have done differently? And everybody shares, and I say, well, I might have become a doctor, because I thought about that at the time, and then I decided to work in economics and my degree and marketing. But then I think, don't great doctors listen to their patients? And don't great doctors ask questions and not only give you the answers? And I'm lucky to have a doctor who does that. He doesn't only give you the prescription or the drug or send you to the pharmacy. So again, you know, I think, well, I could have done that, but then it's still about questions. It's still about listening. It's still about being a colleague who can offer something, an informed colleague. So it still makes sense to me that I've been on this journey, and I continue on this journey, and I love this journey. So nothing to regret, only things to be thankful for, really every day. Just something from me.
Thank you. And I am so glad that you've walked through these sliding doors and we're able to meet in Rome. We're able to have this conversation again today. And yeah, sincerely from the bottom of my heart, thank you, Peter, for being my friend now. And
it's true.
And I look forward to that journey ahead.
I look forward to it too. And I'm glad we've been on this journey together today. And if anybody has any comments, then I look forward to hearing from other people's journeys as well. It'd be wonderful. Love to learn from anybody and everybody. But thank you so much for your time, Mel. It's been a real pleasure.
The pleasure is mine. This has been the 100 Master Coaches show today with Peter and myself, Mel, saying continue being on that journey. Continue to seek for that inner person. As you find it, continue to walk intently and passionately towards your destination. So with that, take care now, everyone. Ciao.
Ciao.
You have been watching the 100 Master Coaches series with your host, Coach Mel, MCC. Brought to you by Catalyst Coach. www.catalystcoach.live. We will be right back with our next Master Coach on the 100 Master Coaches series.